All right, so I'm getting ready to start season 2 of My Hero Academia. And season 1 really felt like it was just setting up the board, and now season 2, we're ready to play the game. So I'm really eager to see what happens. I had so much fun with season 1, a lot of nostalgic feelings for my love of comic books and superheroes kind of growing up. But I really want to see where the story's going, because the story was just establishing who the characters are, asking some questions. Now it's time to answer them. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. So this is, once again, a recap of the rules of this world of the future where everybody has quirks. Something that catches my attention here in episode 2 that didn't catch it in episode 1 is they say nobody knows what caused these quirks. I think at some point in the story, they have to unveil what it was that happened that caused these quirks or mutations to show up. Like, I really think that's an integral part of the grand story that they have to tell. And it's something that they may not have to touch on for years, but eventually I think you have to reveal or discuss or investigate in some manner what it is that caused these quirks to occur in the first place. All right, But is the name of the episode, maybe? Or is this, no, that But's not the name of the episode. It's just a whole lot of recap about, Deku not having that quirk. I guess we're going to see him eating the hair again. Really having a rough start to season 2 so far. A lot of false starts. I guess this is a pretty good recap. Like, if you didn't watch season 1, but all your friends were talking about it, so you said, you know what, I'm going to jump on season 2. I think this recap gets you kind of caught up to speed. I mean, it's not by any means a substitute for watching season 1, but I feel like I'd be able to follow whatever comes next, seeing this recap here before the episode gets started. Pretty efficient storytelling here. All right. Of course, during the OP, I do like to remind folks that I have a Patreon now. I know quite a few of you are already members of the Patreon, which is awesome. You rock, and I appreciate it. But if you're not a member or you're just kind of curious and want to see what's going on, well, there is a link in the video description. Please click on it and check it out. We would love to have you over there at Patreon. Oh, boy. Oh, okay, so the news is covering everything we saw in those last handful of episodes from Season 1, which is pretty cool. Talking about the League of Villains that attacked, I guess this is the first time they've appeared on the scene. In particular, probably the first time we've seen a large number of villains like this working together. Like, not just 2 or 3, but like every villain working together. So they're like the Injustice League here. I do like their hangout.
Greetings.
Oh, that's All Might's hangout. It looks pretty crummy for All Might.
Hope this letter finds you well, sir.
Oh,
In good health.
is somebody reading the letter or somebody writing the letter? Okay, I got to see the reveal on exactly who is in this room. May not be All Might in this room, but the person All Might's writing to. And maybe a little hint as to the All for One, or One for All. I get confused on which one All Might passed on. Oh, giving his impression of Deku to someone. So I got to see who he's giving this, who this letter's being written to is now like all up in my mind. I got to see who it is that All Might's communicating this with. I do like what All Might's got to say about Deku. It's really warm. It's pretty awesome, because as we're hearing it, you can't help but thinking that some mentor or some person we looked up to is saying that about us. Like, that's the feeling I get when I hear this. And I'm hoping you get that feeling too, because it's really warm and it's like nice. And yeah, he's showing like a nice little highlight of the One for All. So One for All makes sense for a hero, because it's one person who's given up everything to help the world, and then All for One is probably like the villainous equivalent, like the yin and yang, the white and the black swirly that swirls around. I feel like we've got All for One out there as the evil version of One for All. We'll see. And I will admit that I've been spoiled, that I do know that All for One is out there. I just don't know who it is or exactly what it is. So, it's not like I'm totally coming up with this on my own. I mean, I know the concept of both. It just seems pretty obvious to me that the other one's villainous. Is All Might's real name Toshinori Yagi? Did I already know that, or did I miss it? And who's this guy eating the fish biscuits or whatever he's eating? Or maybe they're actual fish. Gran Torino is what the subtitles say this guy's name is. Oh, that's the idea. Ochako is the name. Is Ochako a person, or is that like saying Chachi? It's just like a term used, like dude. I want to know more about this Gran Torino guy now. I really liked the Clint Eastwood movie Gran Torino way back, what's it been, 15 years ago that I saw it. Oh, wow, so these villains are like totally new. Like, not only have they not seen this league working together, but they don't know the individual villains, it looks like. All right, I'm on board. We're going to get some research because they're as much in the dark as I am. And I like that because that's perfect audience surrogate kind of writing. I also learned a little bit more about this mouse man is actually a man mouse, not a mouse man, if that makes sense. At least that's what someone told me in the comments when I was asking questions about him. But yeah, this is great. I love these villains. It's like, I mean, I'm excited about season 2, but watching this recap makes me kind of want to go back and watch the last 3 episodes of season 1 again. I guess that's a pretty good, endorsement of season 1 that I'm that eager about it. Yeah, what I was told is that the mouse is actually a mouse with a quirk that makes it as intelligent as a man rather than a man with some kind of quirk that makes it look like a mouse. Which I like. I like the idea that the quirks aren't limited to humans. That opens up a whole new thing. I do like All Might's breaking this down, proving he's got brains to go with the brawn. He really is the one leading the investigation. He's got Batman in him as well as Superman, it looks like. Snipe is a cool character. Like the character design, I'm so curious about Snipe. Reminds me of the Golden Age Sandman. All right. I like this. They're talking about how, in a way that I've seen addressed before in other venues, but not one with this kind of mainstream appeal, it's like the presence of the heroes necessitates the creation of the villains. Kind of like going back to Newtonian physics, where every action has an equal and opposite reaction. If heroes pop up, then villains must pop up as well. That's a theme I think that was touched on in the early days of heroing in Watchmen, which is my all-time favorite comic book story. I mean, it's not like a groundbreaking, it's not a hot take to say Watchmen's your favorite comic book story. It's, by many people considered the greatest comic book story ever written. I'm one of those people. I did a whole Watchmen influence on Attack on Titan video you can go check out if you haven't seen it already. He thinks the villains wanted them to have a break. Oh no, the school wanted them to have a break after the villain attack. I totally misunderstood what he said there. What's he watching? Oh, is he watching that same video? I got to tell you, this part was my favorite part of the Team 4-Star parody of season 1, where they turned Deku into a YouTube reactor. I don't know why that hit home so well, but I love that one. I love that gag. Yeah, he's really questioning how ill-equipped they are to tackle real-world villains, compared to their teachers. Kind of reminds me of when I was in school. As a student, you start to realize how far you are behind your professors in your chosen profession. And then later, I became one of those professors. And then I realized the professors aren't as skilled as you think. They've just seen it all before, so they know how to react. It's experience and not skill or talent that makes the difference. Because now I've been doing what I do for 22 years now, so you get a new perspective. I love this ramen dish she had. I don't know if that was a fish cake in it or if that was chicken, but that was some delicious looking ramen. One of my favorite things about traveling, because I live in a mid-sized to small town, but traveling to big cities with ramen shops. I love DC, Columbus, the 2 places I've eaten at some great ramen shops. Here I have to make my own ramen. The students are getting a little ego here. It's the way I felt after that first Demon Slayer YouTube video. I get 100,000 views, and I'm like, I'm kind of a big deal. And then I get brought back to earth when, follow-up videos get 200, which, I'm not complaining. 200's sweet. I don't have 200 friends in real life, so... We got the students fawning over their favorite professors here. I love this guy, the guy that I've been calling him Clark Kent. I'm going to start calling him Dick Grayson because he's a goody two-shoes, but he runs like the Flash, but he doesn't look at all like Barry Allen. But I like that guy. Oh, Sue is growing on me too. I like Frog Girl. Somebody told me that somebody with frog abilities is not that unusual. Oh, Izawa! Still teaching, though he's totally in bandages. You go, Izawa. Eraser. Or they call him Eraser or Eraserhead? Eraser. I love this guy all of a sudden. And I did not like him when I first met him. I love him so much now.
The UA Sports Festival.
All right. So I did see that weird teaser when I had my false starts about the UA Sports Festival. I want to see more about this sports festival. Get to see the students do what they can do. Hopefully get some new students introduced or something. Too much is never enough when it comes to superheroes for me. So I want to see more and more character designs, more and more powers, and a competition. And I'm hoping the sports festival, all these characters we know are working as a team against other characters we don't know yet. I hope it's not just them against each other, but if it is, I'll still make the most out of it. Yeah, he's saying the school's the safest it's ever been. in your life, so now it's okay. I feel like I've always heard this before. Like, there's no safer place in the world to be right now than where you are, and where you are is pretty scary. Did Mineta get a lisp? I don't remember Mineta having a lisp last season, but also I didn't pay that much attention to him until the end when he it was Sticky Balls. That name just mesmerized me. I love Sticky Balls as a name, as a joke character. I wouldn't want to have overly sticky balls myself, if you know what I mean. And I'm pretty sure you do. Wow, look at that crowd. That's like World Cup soccer, which, by the way, Japan doing pretty darn good in World Cup soccer right now, but that looks like World Cup soccer, the crowd at this sports festival. Now I'm into it. This is awesome. This is like the high school, only it's as popular as college sports in America and as popular as international sports in the rest of the world. I love it. Oh, wow. People get trapped as sidekicks and never get to go indie. I love it. I love these metaphors I can, like, think of in other jobs that exist in our real world. Man, this Firehead guy looked pretty cool. Talk about a character design. Yeah, they're talking about being an amateur hero versus going pro. The sports metaphors, particularly Western scholastic sports metaphors, are great here. This mangaka knows the West so well. I got to do more research on the folks responsible for creating the manga that this is adapted from. Oh, I like Blockhead. Oh man, this is like, you know, you're on the spotlight, you're playing on ESPN, get a chance to impress the scouts. I like it they talk like going pro means you have to be drafted and selected. You can't just independently go pro. Yeah, Invisible Girl really wants to get noticed, but her power by definition means not getting noticed. And here we got Naval Laser. I cannot remember Naval Laser's name. I know he always seemed French to me. Maybe he's not French, maybe he's Japanese, but she seems to... Oh yeah, six-arm guy. Electric guy uses quirk too much. I like that. I'm getting kind of excited for the sports festivals. The whole season, the sports festival, I know this season is double in size compared to last season, but I could really go for a whole lot of sports episodes. Also, if they have a baseball episode, I won't complain. I love those. I like how serious this girl is all of a sudden, glowing with rage power. She's normally laid back, and now she's all about business. Oh, man. I love it. I love it. She's getting diminishing returns there on that second screen. Oh, this is so much fun. It makes me think about being a kid again, because these kids in school, you know, I was kind of competitive in school. I went far in school, so... you know, it worked out for me, but I'm loving this. It's like so much throwback. I feel like I'm back being young again, which is something when you get old like me, you don't feel often enough. So I think I'm going to watch this forever. Oh my goodness. Oh wow, she's doing it for the money? Is her family poor? Because usually it turns out your family's really poor and you're trying to help your mom pay for her cancer treatment or something like that when you're, like, you sound like you're motivated for money and the ambition sounds monetary, then you find out, well, you want to do something noble with that money. See, here we go. Family story. Alright, so her family's busted and they depend on her. Oh, she would be good for construction with her quirk. Because she could just make everything float. Just like the guy said, Lida, or Ida. Is it Ida? It's Ida. I called him Lida because the capital I was an L. Oh, she wanted to work in construction. They said a girl can't work construction, I bet. Let's see. Okay, so Achako is her name. Oh, what a good dad! This is the dad I try to be. Oh. Never mind. He wants to go to Hawaii. He wants her to take the family to Hawaii with her money. Which can be awkward. I'm probably the highest earning member of my immediate family, so now I feel like Ochako. Let's go to Hawaii. But with her quirk, she can just float them to Hawaii, right? Can she float herself? That's the question. So her, you know, was framed as a love of money. It turns out it's not love of money. But All Might is really, like, pointing his finger at Deku with a lot of fanfare. Oh, no. Eating with the professor. Eating with the professor makes you a nerd, a teacher's pet. Don't do it. Oh, no. Ochako thought it was adorable, but everybody's going to, like, not like you now. Oh man, I love that cafeteria. My school never had anything close to that. Even in college or the education, the post-grad education had no cafeterias like that. Vanderbilt had a good cafeteria, but nothing like this. Oh wow, so All Might's spilling some beans. So it's not just like a teacher's pet lunch. There's a practical meaning to it that the other students, for whatever reason, they deem cannot know about. Although I don't know what the problem would be being open with the other students. But oh, look at the blood. Yikes. Oh, I love this. Matcha. That looks like matcha. I love matcha. Nice. Some practical advice. Or if not advice, at least trying to... Yeah. Because he just acted from his gut. He didn't think about it. So his instincts know what to do, but his intellect doesn't. And he did the fingertip thing with the baseball. I like Apollo 13's power there. I don't think that's his name. I think it's just 13, but I called him Apollo 13. So maybe he's got a little Tanjiro Kamado ability to rise above when it matters. And of course he predates Tanjiro Kamado, but I knew Tanjiro first. Or Kamado Tanjiro, depending on whether you want to be accurate or inaccurate. I tend to be inaccurate most often. Uh-oh. All Might knows that his decline is not a secret, and he needs somebody to do what he does, because all these other heroes are going around having fun, doing their best, but he's the one who really protects the city. Sometimes I've felt like that too. Like, I'm the one who really counts. All these people buzzing around me are just having fun and living their best life, and it all piles up on my shoulders. I've managed to shake off my own hero complex because it's all imaginary, and you just got to live your life, but I got bogged down in what I think's bogging down All Might here in the past. But this sports festival, I love how important the sports festival is becoming here, because I think it's going to be so much fun, but it's also kind of ridiculous that All Might's making such a big deal out of the sports festival. But I love it. I'm endorsing it. I'm behind it. I'm buying in, suspending. I love it. Look at that. Goes into the eye. We get all this color spectrum. Comes back out to Deku's eye. Oh, I love it. He's got to announce to the villains that they better not get cocky, because somebody's there to shut them down. And I do agree with All Might that an ounce of prevention is worth like 10 pounds of cure. So you go out there, you strut your stuff, you scare them off so the villains don't even dare hurt people. The best defense is good offense is what they say. Well, I think you get inside their mind and you make them scared of doing anything too serious. I mean, they might try some petty crime, whatever. We can deal with that. Like property crime we can deal with, but they're not going to hurt people if they know there's a new All Might in town. I love it. I love this setup. I'm so excited to see this not silly, but sports festival seems like low stakes, but All Might has now framed it with high stakes. And I just love a good competition, so I can't wait to see it. I'm such a mark for this show. An overnight fanboy. And I avoided this show because I was afraid of it in some ways. People made me afraid of the fandom, but I'm having so much fun. I'm glad I dived into it. Perfect anime for me. Not my favorite anime, but the perfect fit for me. I have others I like better, but I love this one too. And I can't wait to see where it takes it. And I guess with that, I'm just going to say, I'm proud of you for watching anime, and I'll talk to you again soon.
I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who supports the channel on Patreon. It really means a lot to me. If you might be interested in Patreon perks like early access to videos, uncut reaction videos, ad-free videos, and the opportunity to vote on which anime will be covered in the future, then click on the link in the video description. Thank you.